Works. Hi everyone, how are you doing? The food was good? Yeah, I really liked it. I'm just was eating so many of these little mini burgers. Pretty cool. So yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks a lot, Max, for inviting me. Actually, so tonight I'm going to talk about how to become basically a go-to-market rep. So there's no kind of cool acronym for that. It would be G2MR, which is weird. So who's SDR here or BDR? Okay. Who's hiring SDR or BDR? Who's like, okay, cool. So you know how hard it is. Good, so let's get started. About me really quickly, I know I'm not supposed to pitch or whatever, but I'm just gonna pitch about my life. So I'm Thibaut Souyris from France and Switzerland. Live in Canada, Germany, Switzerland, France, I guess also. And I'm the CEO and founder of Sales Labs and the co-host of the B2B Sales podcast, which is actually gonna launch in January. And I help founders building sales organization and sales teams closing faster. And so before we get started, just if you could take your phone and add me on LinkedIn, everyone. You go into your LinkedIn app, and then you have a small QR code, and you can simply put it there or just find Thibaut Souyris. And you're gonna need that because there's a bunch of tools and frameworks I'm gonna share with everyone, and you need to be signed up to my newsletter to actually access them. So we'll try that. I'm growth hacking the crowd. I'm sorry, guys. Cool, everyone took a picture? Yeah? You're good. Great. In general, I get 30 plus requests, so it's pretty cool. So talking about that, hiring and keeping SDRs is pretty hard. The reason is their job is actually, I think it's a really shitty job. I'm sorry, it's a really tough job. I've done it, and I respect the strength it takes to actually do this job. The problem is it's like your entry level job. You're working really hard, getting a lot of rejection over the phone and everything, and money is pretty bad actually when you start as a SDR. But we can actually progress a lot when we're SDR. But what a lot of SDRs do actually, especially in Berlin, they chill. So they just go and then they just stop being SDRs because that's a pretty tough job. So what we try is actually to do what we call social selling. So, they do social selling, but the problem is when you have an SDR who's untrained doing social selling, it looks like that. So, hey, we work as a technical partner with companies like yours to help them maintain and develop their clients' web and mobile apps. Great. Or my friend Vivek, I would like to be in touch with you for business collaboration in regards to website or mobile app development services / resources. Amazing. The second one is the guy is hire Java.NET, Angular, JS, Node.js, Vue.js, React. What the fuck is that? I have no clue. And my favorite is this dude who's just telling me about his life and how he's amazing at sourcing leads. So, I mean, they all say business development, SDR, whatever, everything. So that's the problem when you let these guys do actually social selling. So actually, do that instead. The thing, it's a 3-part framework, which is pretty simple. The first is to find your market and educate it. So I always say that identify your ICP, which is the ideal customer profile. I won't go too much in details in there. I do a lot of other events where I talk about that, but the idea is you get a matrix of people you want to talk to. And so I see you taking pictures, guys, but just sign up for the newsletter, you're gonna get it. So you identify that, that's my ICP. I think it changes all the time, but that's pretty much who I target for sales training and coaching and everything. And the idea is to build content that helps your ICP. So you have to be a thought leader there. You can see a lot of people doing that on LinkedIn, and some are really powerful. And even if your content is crap, you can get a lot of likes and a lot of people actually following you. So what I suggest is to do opinion posts. So you take a widespread idea and you debunk it, and then people will actually go crazy. So be super polarizing. I'm going to show you an example of that. You can do blog posts, guest blog posts. So if you have a company that is selling to the same market as yours, just be invited and do a blog post for them. Then you're going to actually address this market. You can do native videos. So there you can show your face, use rev.com for subtitles, super important. So you can actually have people in a pre-roll so they have the video. 80% of people actually see videos on LinkedIn without the sound. So you need these kind of things. And you can link to key articles, podcasts, videos, and different things. And there's a small hack to keep a good reach. And you guessed it, to access it, you have to go on the newsletter. It's at the end, don't worry. An opinion post example. I did one actually on pipeline where I was saying, hey, I basically lost my pipeline, I lost my life, it's a nightmare, but it's great. Result, 8,500 views, I'm at 8,500, 48 likes and reactions, 19 comments. And actually, I think I generated around 6 leads out of that. So this kind of thing, opinion posts that are super polarizing, are really interesting. Then I did something a bit similar where I'm basically summarizing what I'm going to talk about today. That also got, I think, 3,000 views. So these kind of posts are really, really powerful. And in terms of like links and everything that you can put in there, I'm going to also give you a few tips there. But the idea is just to be a bit different, but like address your target market. So for me, I address like CEOs, head of sales and everything, and I just try to say things that like catch to their eyes and that actually brings value to them. So a few tips for posting on LinkedIn. You talked about algorithm. I know about the algorithm, I tried it, and it doesn't change so much. So the idea is, in the first 30 minutes, you have to get as many likes, comments, and reshare as possible. 1 like is basically 1 point, 1 comment is basically 10 points, and 1 reshare is around 100. It's like more or less the thing. So what I do when I post something, I text all my friends and say like, please, reshare, whatever. So people actually kind of engage the pump in the first 30 minutes, and then LinkedIn will spread that to your second connection and third connections. You can tag people with many followers. Let me swap hands. And this is actually really interesting, but the problem is if you tag people and they don't really answer or react, you're going to lose points in the algorithm. So make sure you actually contact people and tag people who actually have a lot of followers but will actually at least like. Maximum 3 hashtags, it's not Instagram here, otherwise you get penalized. Don't include your links into your post, you do it in the comment. And there's another hack I'm giving, because everyone says link in first comment, but if you link like your post goes viral, your comment is lost. So there's a way to do that, to link to your comment, and it's in the hack, and you guessed it, newsletter, yeah. So educate 80% of the time, promote 20% of the time, and keep experimenting, but be consistent. Typically, I post Monday, Wednesday, Fridays around lunch, and I'm still consistent around that, and I change the content as much as I can. Part 2 is connect with your ideal customer profile and let them engage. So the idea here is to do a soft connect. It's a pretty cool picture actually, I think it's a soft connect. So the idea there is to connect with people and insert like your 300 characters, so that's the limit you have in LinkedIn, 300 characters. And here, don't like reinvent the wheel, just follow these templates. This one for Marcel is like, hello Marcel, your LinkedIn profile popped in my suggestions and got my interest. I'd love nothing more but to see more of your content and updates. Have a great day, Thibaut. I do that. 60 to 70% of people accept my LinkedIn. I'm sure some of you guys got it and accepted, yeah. Or if there's this guy, Christopher Voss, is like, he wrote like Never Split the Difference, which is the negotiation Bible. And I said, hey man, so you this, like the mirroring stuff or whatever, which is a technique he's teaching. And I just like mentioned something very specific of showing that I wrote his book. And so I read his book, yeah. And so this kind of thing worked. This guy accepted me, and I mean, we're not friends yet, but I'm working on that. So once you've done that, you can observe who engages. So people will actually like, comment, or whatever. And the thing is, with LinkedIn, if you post regularly and you add people regularly, they will see your post at the top of their feed. So that's a really good way to actually get people to like it. And if it's your ICP and what you're saying actually makes sense to them, they will start liking, commenting, sharing, or whatever. So then you get a good idea of who's actually kind of liking your comment. So some people will engage with many of your posts, and then your lead is actually getting hotter. So it's a bit artisanal, but like still better than a lot of things. And then you have to look for triggers. So triggers are events on things that can be valuable for them, or for them. So the idea is to say, hey, I don't know, for me, typically when I see that people are looking for head of sales or looking for salespeople, that's a good trigger for sales training, for example. And then the idea is to get in touch strategically. So here I'm gonna it's not me who invented this framework, it's a guy called Josh Brown. It's called the 40s. The guy is amazing. He's just like, he's from Florida. He's like a super extrovert dude. He's super weird, but he's really good. And his framework is very simple. It's like trigger, third-party credibility, teach, and tell me. So the idea of a trigger is what I told you about. It's like, what is this thing that you can engage with that can make sense for them? So what is the kind of a problem you assume they have and your solution is actually solving? Then you can mention a customer, someone who actually helps solving this problem. It's third-party credibility. Then you teach your prospect how you can help, and you ask them if they would make sense to actually jump in a call. So here's how it looks. Hi, whatever. I noticed that you recently posted a job offer for a B2B sales manager at, looks like you're staffing up in sales. I just came back from Sofia where we defined a clear sales strategy with a company launching their outbound sales process. You can see how the workshop helped my customer Paris in attachment. Would it make sense for us to have a quick chat to find out if I can help? So this is super powerful. I mean, I just sent it yesterday, so I don't know if it worked or not, but yeah, that's something that is really interesting in the way you can approach that. So you have your soft touch, and then you approach people this way. And there's a few hidden LinkedIn hacks. So most of people actually are using LinkedIn on their computer. So when you're doing sales, you're at your desk, you're sending messages to people with your computer. One tip is switch to the LinkedIn hack, the LinkedIn app. So what you can do is send voicemail and videos. That's a video, that's how it looks like. So coming back to Marcel, that's great ways to do that. But the best thing is this little blue thing here. I mean, for sure, when I see that, I'm going to hit this button, for sure. So use your voicemails. And here, if you see like the small thing here, it's just like in WhatsApp, use that. And no one is doing that. No one is doing that. So you can use this kind of thing in your sequences. Then Gameloft is doing that, apparently. Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, these guys are doing it, but most of people actually have no clue about that. So here is like your go-to-market toolbox. So the way to actually do that, you have the ICP matrix, LinkedIn link in comment hack, Josh Brown 40's video and everything. And the best way to get there is to be on my newsletter. So you can go on the bit.ly or take pictures of that. Be careful, it's not the same as my LinkedIn profile, it's another QR code. So if you want to access all of that, you get the newsletter. I'll send it, I think, on Monday. So just like get it before Sunday. No, actually, yeah, no, Sunday is good. And yeah, I think that's about it for me. Question? Was any question?
Far away, we've got, 3 minutes.
Okay, the voicemails and the videos, does that really work? Because most of the people are sitting on the desktop and have like lots of people around them, and usually don't have the headphones in maybe. Is that really something that happens and works?
So the thing is, you are sitting when you're prospecting on your desktop. Most of people are actually sitting using LinkedIn in their app when they are commuting, because I have a friend who was in sales, now she works at HelloFresh, and she's never using LinkedIn. Like she just checks, just like she would check Tinder or whatever. So most of the people you're selling to, if they are not in sales, they will check it while they commute. So maybe they won't listen to it or whatever, so you have to send many, but still it's more compelling. It's more compelling than text, I think. So, yeah. Yep.
The number of posts you were showing at the beginning, what do you think, how long did it take you to write this post?
Took me around 20 minutes. So, I mean, if you're SDR, your job is to book discos. So, I guess you can spend 4 hours sending cold email or doing cold call, or, just like prepare your strategy every Monday morning. But these things are, they don't take too much time, I would say. Anyone else?
Any more questions? LinkedIn hacks. Any other LinkedIn hacks for us, Thibaut?
I have many, but then no, you have to pay for the other ones.
Okay. Big round of applause for Thibaut, folks.
Thank you.